What's up, fellow nerds? I hope you're ready for the next episode of... This week we will be talking about the fiery furnace. Just talking about this makes me a little hot. This story stars our friends Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But for this episode, I'm just gonna call them Rakshak and Benny. We know from last week's episode that they were friends with Daniel. They were all exiled from Babylon and they were taken out of Jerusalem. During this time, King Nebuchadnezzar was kind of obsessed with himself. I can imagine him being like, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the best and greatest king of all?" Huh? Yes, me! I'm the greatest king of all! Man, you good looking too. He thought he was so great that he actually built a huge, tall idol, which kind of looked like him. He was so impressed with his work that he called everyone and their mama to come see it. Man, he called governors, counselors, the treasurers, the justices, and all of the officials of the provinces came out to see this thing. It was kind of like the king was going around handing out flyers for this thing. Have you ever wanted to see an image of gold? Come out and see it, because I made it. The king made the image of gold. Now, once everyone was gathered, the herald proclaimed, "You are commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that when you hear the sound of the horn, pipe, or any kind of music, you will fall down and worship the golden image that the king created." Hold on, I lost my place. And whoever does not fall down and worship immediately will be sent into a burning, fiery furnace. Too much? Okay, sorry. During this time, some people came to the king who spotted Rakshak and Benny not worshiping the golden idol. It was kind of like, Yes. What do you want?
He's not gonna like Rakshak and Benny aren't worshiping your idol.
What? They were telling the king that Rakshak and Benny were not paying any attention to the king, that they don't serve his gods or worship the golden idol. This made the king furious and demanded that Rakshak and Benny be brought to him. He then asked them, "Is it true that you do not serve the gods I serve or worship the golden idol? That if you do not worship the golden image, you shall immediately be casted into the fiery furnace?" He then asked them what god would take them out of his hands. Now this is classic. Rakshak and Benny then told the king, "We have no need to answer you in this manner." It was like they were saying, "None of your business." They told the king that the God that they serve shall deliver them from the king's hands. Get this, on top of everything, they then told the king that they will not worship the golden image or his gods. The king, filled with fury, then ordered his men to heat the furnace 7 times hotter than normal. The king then had Rakshak and Benny tied up and then thrown into the furnace. Now get this, the heat was so intense that the men that threw Rakshak and Benny into the furnace were killed from the intense flames. What the king saw next was so amazing that he jumped from his seat, for he saw 4 figures in the furnace, not 3. He saw them walking around the flames like it was no big deal. The king then declared that Rakshak and Benny were servants of the God Most High. The king then called them out of the furnace, and when they came out, there was no sign of them being in the fire. I mean, no hair singe, no burnt clothes, or even the smell of the fire was on them. Can you imagine what they were talking about in the furnace? Guys, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Wow. Look at the flames. This is cool! Flame on! Is it working? I can't tell if it's working. The king then says, "Blessed be the God of Rakshak and Benny, who delivered his servants." The king then made a decree that any people, nation, or language that speaks anything of Rakshak and Benny's god shall be torn limb from limb, and their houses will be destroyed. For there is no other god who can rescue in this way. Funny thing is, after this event, the king promoted Rakshak and Benny. I have to be honest, when I heard this story, I thought to myself that God has a plan for everything. When Rakshak and Benny stood up for what they believed in, God in the end not only saved them, but blessed them. So the next time you see yourself in a situation, stand up for what is right. God will bless you. You may not see it at first, but you will later down the road. And this is the story of the fiery furnace. If you had as much fun as I did, share this with your friends. And together we can stand up for what is right. Next week I shall be bringing music to this channel, so I hope you're ready to rock out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week on Nerd for the Word.